Shortly, kabanalig. Shortly lang, kabanalig. Sa ilan sandali.
Several Israeli airstrikes have hit the southern suburbs of Beirut. A series of loud explosions were heard across the city just after midnight.
Bawal ka na rin.
Attacks came shortly after Israeli forces repeated their same tactic of issuing chaotic evacuation orders that we have seen in Gaza. Meanwhile, in northern Israel, the army has declared closed military zones. Entry to the town of Metula on Israel's border with Lebanon.
Ayan, sakripisyo ko lang.
The communities of Kafar Giladi and Mizgah
Sa detalye po ng
Well, we have a team of correspondents covering all angles of this developing story in Washington, D.C.
Medyo galit na siya.
Marjayoun, southern Lebanon. But first we go to Amman, Jordan, where Hamda Saud is. Across all the latest lines coming out of Israel, Hamda, in just the last few minutes, a statement from the Israeli military confirming there is been conducting limited incursions into southern Lebanon.
Pandang ulan dan bintang, ajaib dan mulialah
sovereign Lebanese territory. An army statement said that this actually began 2 hours ago.
Kamukha ni Mimyo.
From the political echelon within Israel. These are the meetings that we've been talking about over the last couple of hours that included the Israeli Prime Minister, the Security Cabinet, and then other security and defense officials. The army says that first they launched these what they call targeted and precise raids based on intelligence, and that they are going to launch this offensive on the ground in order to achieve their goals of restoring the balance of power along the border, as well as returning those evacuated Israelis back to those towns and settlements that have been evacuated since the cross-border fire began. The Israeli army has said that they are looking to target Hezbollah posts and other military infrastructure in the border area. It does not say how deep they plan to push into Lebanese territory, but make no mistake, this is now a full Israeli invasion into Lebanon.
Ku sembah kau Tuhan, ku sembah kau. Ku sembah kau Tuhan, ku sembah kau.
Israel has gone into Lebanon on the ground. This is after 11 months of continuous rocket attacks, drone attacks, and fake missile attacks. Israel has finally escalated to this new stage of the conflict, which is aimed at degrading Hezbollah's capabilities and basically destroying the infrastructure that they
Para
have.
sa biktima ng Bagyong Julian ng Cartas Manila. Ayan. Ayan kasi yan eh. Cartas na tayo sa darating na Lunes.
So many tens of thousands of Israelis, about 60, 70,000, had to evacuate their homes in those borderline communities. So we saw for about 2 weeks significant aerial strikes that were carried out by Israel, bombardment against Hezbollah positions. But as of Monday night, in the night between Monday and Tuesday, forces, significant ground forces, the 98th Division of the IDF has now crossed into Lebanon and is operating in the south. The IDF has said that this will be a
Magaling.
limited and a very focused ground operation, which leads to the assumption this will not be extended, it will not be extensive, it will not be long in duration. But I always say that with some skepticism, David, because you know how these things begin, you don't always know how they will end. Well, the 98th Division is made
Ganun yun, no?
is
Ganun
made
si,
up
ano,
of
si Nancy.
a number of different
Napakagalak.
units and
Galak siya.
capabilities you have
Gagalak.
within it.
Gagalak na. Nanay na gagala. Gagalagalang nanay. Nanay.
You also have, just as one example I'll highlight, is the unit that's called EGOS, which stands for like a lot. That would be Hebrew, alarm, that would be how it's translated into English. But EGOS is a unit that was founded in the late 90s, early 2000s, as a unit that was meant to specialize in combating the guerrilla warfare of Hezbollah. So this is a well-trained group of soldiers whose expertise is essentially operating in areas like in southern Lebanon. We have to just keep in mind for a moment, southern Lebanon is very different terrain than what we've seen in the Gaza Strip, where Israel has been operating on the ground over almost the last last year, it's sand down there, it's dry, it's desert, it's very flat. Southern Lebanon is hilly, it's rocky, it's muddy. There's a lot of green, a lot of brush, a lot of bush, and you have to be very careful.
Pinas ka. Nanay na sa kami daw. Sa kami na siya. Ingat ka! Ingat ka lang! Ingat ka lang!
Different caverns and tunnel complexes that Hezbollah might have there. So it's a very different type of war. Anything that Israel is going to do on the ground will receive significant support from the Israeli Air Force. Now, there's a lot of people who have been wondering, for example, why does Israel need to send ground troops into Lebanon, right? Why not just use the Air Force? And it's a legitimate question. And especially because that's what we've seen has been the focus up until now. For the last 11 months, Hezbollah has attacked Israel, and in response, whenever Israel has retaliated, it's been very focused and very precise with what it's done, but it's only used the Air Force. So why now ground forces? And I think that there's a few reasons why. First is, it now has the ability, because it's pretty much completed the most of what it wanted to militarily in Gaza in a big way. It still has some lower intensity operations in Gaza. Nothing that the 98th Division, which until a few weeks ago was still in Gaza, is now able to move and divert its attention to the north. So that's reason one. It now has that capability to refocus itself. The second is, at the end of the day, no matter how good the intelligence is that you will have together straight from the air, you need to have boots on the ground if you really want to clean out an area. You won't know everything that's there. You won't know some tunnel that might exist. You won't know about an arms cache. You won't know about a command center. So if you really want to clear it out and really provide security, you got to put boots on the ground and you got to go door to door in this area. Symbolically, there is importance in sort of showing Hezbollah and Iran it's not afraid to send its troops on the ground into Lebanon. We have to remember that it's been 18 years since the last time that Israel sent troops into Lebanon during the Second Lebanon War. And Hezbollah, kind of like what Hamas thought ahead of its attack on October 7th, was that Israel is scared and deterred from losing ground forces. So it's important to show as a way to boost Israel's deterrence, to show its enemies that it is not afraid, that it does not fear sending its forces, and that there is nowhere in which to try and create and ensure the security of its people.
Ang pagsisir.
On one hand, I think that Israelis understand.
Sanay lang ha. Hadi ka kay A16, hininem ko. Pairam lang. Pairam. Hadi ka kay A16. Pairam.
Unless Israel is looking to completely occupy Lebanon for an extended period of time, which I don't see in their heads. So what it wants to do here is be able to further weaken Hezbollah, to degrade the capabilities inside, to prevent them from being able to pose a direct threat to those communities. Let's remember, they will still have rockets and missiles in the day after whatever this operation leads to. But if we can stop them from firing those anti-tank missiles, which is what was mostly used to destroy hundreds of homes along the border by evacuating the borderline communities in the north, Israel essentially gave Hezbollah free rein and created a shooting range for them. So pushing back those forces, destroying their capabilities and their weapons storage centers, is able to provide security for the people of northern Israel. The question of the day after is really more, it's a larger global and international question. Because it's really a question about the future of the world. You know, Israel can only engineer.
Door.
John, you control the shaping operation. Smaller, raids, goal here is, as stated publicly, not guessing about this, that Israel's goal, as officials have described, is to move Hezbollah back from the border. And to do that, they seem to be making it clear they don't just intend to do damage to Hezbollah forces along the border, but push them back, the typical bilateral body figure about 10 miles back from the border. So that when you have the Israeli Defense Minister go speak to Israeli forces now
Ador.
on the northern border and use this phrase, we will employ all the capabilities at our disposal. That's quite clear public signaling about what they are doing next up with the special operations raised, as well as the bombing and strike we've seen in recent days as part of that same operation. You know, John, I think to some degree, in recent days, weeks, if you go back to 2016, the Patriot Act, as well as the Military Friday in Australia, we've seen something of a piercing of the bubble of Hezbollah's military capabilities. As advertised, this was Iran's strongest proxy weapon in the Middle East and against Israel. The strongest piece of that ring of fire around Israel. We're talking about the many tens of thousands of missiles and rockets, etc. But now, in just a few days' time, Israel has not only dismantled its leadership down at the very top, but it's taken out a lot of